Hello and welcome. My name is Kim Chafe with Lotus Within Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for video number 4 of my Yoga for Groomers series. Today we're going to get up and do a little bit of Hatha. We're going to get up and move and hopefully build a little bit of strength and mobility. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to start in a child's pose today. So taking our knees wide as possible, whatever's comfortable for you, our toes coming back to touch, and sit back as much as you can towards your heels. Start to walk your hands out ahead of you and guiding your heart down. Just take a moment here to find your breath. Try and get settled into the pose. Rolling our shoulders back and down while reaching forward at the same time, guiding our heart down towards the mat. Take some nice, big, deep inhalations through the nose and out the nose. Finding stillness. Leaving your to-do list behind. It'll be there once you're done. Just really dedicating your time to being here in the now on your mat. Maybe closing the eyes, maybe rolling the forehead back, giving a little massage to your third eye between your eyebrows. On your next inhale, you're going to just gently lift your head up off the mat and start to walk your fingertips over to the right side of your mat. Maybe taking your left hand on top of your right and then coming back down, starting to feel this stretch through the left side of your body. And remember to connect to your breath. Slowly in through the nose and long exhales out the nose. Sending your breath to the left side of your body. If your hips are starting to get a little tender, you can feel free to bring those knees in close together and bringing your body over top of your knees. But if you can hold on just a little bit longer, try and keep those knees wide. One more big deep breath here. Inhale. Long, slow exhale. Start to walk the fingertips back through center. Just taking 2 nice, big, deep breaths here. Once you've completed your exhalation, on your next inhale, just start to walk the fingertips over to the left side of the mat. Maybe bringing your right hand on top of your left. Now breathing in to the right side body. When we stand all day at our table or at the bathtub, we tend to Get a little tender through the back and the spine and the hips. Nice passive stretch like this will really help open up the intercostal muscles, the little muscles in between your ribs, allowing more space and movement. Take another 2 big deep breaths here. And when you're ready, you can start to walk the hands back through center and just taking a moment to feel the difference between the 2 sides. And when you're ready, you can come bring yourself up to all fours into a tabletop position. Your knees stack underneath your hips, hands under your shoulders, engaging through the core, pressing firmly into the mat with your foundation. We're going to go through some cat-cows. On your inhale, you're going to drop the belly, lift the gaze, send the tailbone up to the sky, and exhale, push into the mat, rounding through the back like an angry cat. Inhale, drop the belly, raise the heart, and exhale, push into the mat, rounding out the spine. Go ahead and go through about 3 of those on your own breath. Maybe swaying back and forth, side to side. Just taking whatever movement calls you, whatever your body needs. And when you're ready, finding a neutral spine. Excellent. We're going to bring ourselves down to our bellies, nice and slow. Excellent. With our hands placed underneath our shoulders and our feet together, firmly planted into the mat, just like our laces of our shoes. We're going to root through our hips and our pelvis as we start to peel the heart open, warming up the back line of our body, stretching out our chest, and breathing. And exhale, release down. One more time. Root through the pelvis, through the tops of your feet. Start to lift the heart. Not so much trying to look straight ahead of you, maybe just a few inches in front of your mat. There should be no pinching in the lower spine. Just engaging our muscles, peeling the heart up. And on your next exhale, lower back down. You can put one ear to the mat, extend your arms back, and just take a moment. You can take your chin back to the mat as you place your hands underneath your shoulders again, rolling our shoulder blades up and back down our spine, rooting through our foundation. Inhale, peeling our heart up. Now, most of this strength should be coming from your lower back. If you want to check and see if you're engaging, try to lift your fingers up a little bit, maintaining the open chest and strength through the lower spine. And on your next exhale, release, opposite ear to match. Excellent. You can bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes under, and bring yourself back up to tabletop position. If you like, bring yourself through some cat-cows. Inhale, tilt the tailbone up, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round your back out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press into the mat and round. Beautiful. All right. You can walk your hands just an inch or two about in front of you. We're going to go back up to a down dog. So tucking your toes under, we're going to lift our hips up to the sky, pressing back, lengthening our spine. Enjoying our first down dog of the day. Maybe this means you're going to walk out your feet, pedaling out, really opening up the back line of your body. Hands can either be shoulder width distance apart. If you've got a little bit of tension in your shoulders, feel free to walk them out a little bit. Your hands out a little wider. Real key here is not to worry so much if you have a bend in your knees. You just want to have a nice long spine. I like to put a bend in my knees, tilt my tailbone up to the sky, and then try to straighten out a little bit more. Excellent. You can put a generous bend into the knees, look up to the hands, and start to walk your feet up to join your hands, coming into a comfortable forward fold. Just dangling here for a moment. Again, don't worry about if you have a bend in the knees or not. They don't have to be straight. Actually feels quite nice to have a bend in the knees and just drape your body over your thighs. On your next inhale, you're going to bring your hands to your shins or your thighs and come to a flat back, extend forward, long, tall neck, and fold. And slowly, mindfully, rolling up one vertebrae at a time. We're going to come to a Tadasana mountain pose, but there's no rush. Take your time. Palms flash forward. Feet are rooted and grounded, about hip width, comfortable distance for yourself. Shoulders rolling back. Beautiful. I'll come to face you. You can bring your feet, step them close together. And on an inhale, raise your arms up to the sky, shoulders still rolling back and down your body. Going to interlace the fingers, shining the palms up to the sky. We're going to inhale, extend tall, and exhale, tilt to the right. Again, opening up through our left side body. My shoulders are rolled back down my body. Think about extending up tall, then tilting over instead of just collapsing. Your shoulders and your hips are going to stay square, stacked over top of each other. And sending our breath to our left side. Maintaining that nice, steady, long inhales, long, slow exhales through the nose. One more big inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, you can come back up through center, release the arms, give yourself a good couple shoulder rolls. Beautiful. On your inhale, raise your arms up to the sky. You can interlace the hands and flip the palms up to the sky. As you inhale, think tall spine. Exhale, bending over to the left, opening up our right side. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed and down the spine at the back, making sure your shoulders are also staying nice and square and you're not collapsing in. Shining your heart forward. And breathing. Take another big inhale and exhale here. And inhale, come up through center and release the hands down. Maybe walking out your legs, giving yourself a couple shoulder rolls back, a couple shoulder rolls forward. We're going to come to some balancing postures now. We're going to do tree pose. So we're going to root strongly through our left foot, really making sure that all four corners of our foot are rooted into our mat. We're going to take our right knee and open it up to the right side of our room. Now, you can either keep your foot onto your ankle, your calf, or you can go ahead and help your foot all the way up to the inside of your leg with your knee pointing out to the right, coming into tree pose. Hands can be on the hips, coming to heart center in a prayer, or if you're feeling daring, growing branches for your tree. Really think of pushing this left thigh into the right foot as much as you're pushing that right foot into that left thigh. Really squeezing inwards and going up, sending the energy upwards. Being mindful that we're not placing our right foot onto our knee. And breathing. Don't worry if balance is not your friend today. If you fall, the floor is right there. Just try and come back up to it when you're ready. On your next exhale, you can release down, shaking out through the legs. Maybe some ankle rolls. Excellent. Now we're going to root strongly through our right leg, taking our left knee out to the side of the room, either placing our foot on our ankle, our calf, or our inner thigh, pointing that left knee out to the left side of our room. Hands to hips. Heart center, or you can start to grow your branches. Whatever works for you today. Balance is always fun to play with. Just if you're not having a good time balancing today, don't worry, it's just yoga. Play with it. See what you can do. You'd be surprised. Remember, try and keep those hips nice and square, facing the front of your room, and breathing. Really hugging in through both of our inner thighs to create length. And on your next exhale, you can release down and shake it out. Beautiful. We're going to come to the top end of our mat now. In a comfortable mountain pose, so feet stacked about hips width distance apart. On your inhale, bring your arms up to the sky, and we're going to fold forward over our legs. Again, maybe taking a bend in the knees, protecting those joints. Inhale, half lift, tall, long spine. Exhale, fold. We're going to start to put a bend in our knees, coming back like we're going to be sitting on an imaginary chair, making sure our knees don't pass over top of our toes. Take that invisible chair, raise up through the heart. Arms can come up above you. You can come to prayer right here, just really engaging our quads and our inner thighs, waking them up today into Utkatasana chair pose. Try to keep the abdominals engaged, not, pouring into our rib cage. Nice, strong core. On your next exhale, you can straighten the legs and fold. Start to walk the feet out so that they're a little bit wider than your hips, taking your toes, pointing them outwards a little bit. We're going to start to sit back down. Maybe you're grabbing a block and putting a block under you. We're going to bring our hips right down. I'll turn so you can see, into a nice yogi squat. Nice tall spine, really opening up through the hips. I'm taking my elbows and pressing into my thighs, encouraging them outwards. Sitting on a block here is a nice place when you're just trying to get into this pose. This one is a juicy one for the hips, so just be mindful, no pinching. And breathe and smile. All right, on your next exhale, you can take your hands back down to the earth as you straighten back through the legs, walking them back to about hip width distance apart and folding. Maybe you grab your elbows and just dangle. Maybe rocking back and forth. Excellent. Put a bend in the knees as you place your hands onto the ground and start to walk your legs back, coming back into a nice down dog. Again, you can pedal out through both of your legs. Really encouraging a nice, long, tall spine. Tailbone goes up to the sky. On your next inhale, you're going to take your right foot and raise it up behind you. Toes face down, hips stay square. And on your next exhale, bring that right foot in between the hands. Drop your left knee down, coming into a low lunge. Making sure that our ankle is stacked underneath our knee. You can stay down like this. You can use your thigh to support yourself to come on up. Maybe taking your hands to your hips. Maybe taking your hands up above you. Just really lunging into that right leg, encouraging our right hip to go to the back and encouraging our left hip forward, staying nice and square. If you choose to bring your arms up ahead, above you, rolling the shoulders back and down the body. And breathe. On your next exhale, you can bring your hands down to the mat. We're going to tuck our left toes under, straighten out through that leg, shining the sole of our foot to the back of the room. We're going to draw ourselves upwards to a crescent lunge. Staying square through the hips, guiding that left hip down, right hip back. Strong, powerful crescent lunge. Again, if your shoulders are feeling sore, there's no problem with your hands coming here to heart center or to the hips. On your next exhale, bring your hands down to frame either side of your foot, stepping the right foot back, coming into a down dog. Maybe pedaling out through those legs, feeling the difference. And when you're ready, take your left foot, raise it up to the sky, toes pointing down, hips staying square, really pushing through the back heel, finding length. And on your exhale, bring that left foot forward, drop the right knee into your low lunge. Taking a moment to set up your alignment. Knee stacks over ankle. Lunging into that front foot. Hips staying square. Maybe bringing yourself back up, using your leg as support, maybe your hands to your hips, or arms raise up, shoulders roll back and down. My right hip is pushing forward as my left hip guides gently back. Feeling this nice deep stretch in our hip flexors. Go ahead and take your hands back down to the mat. As you take your right toes, tuck them under, straighten out through that back leg. Maybe just adjusting so that you're giving your hips enough room. Some people need a wider hip distance between the 2 feet. Some people don't. It's really all about your body structure. Just make sure you're listening to that. And as that right foot is tucked under and extending, I'm going to start to engage into my quads and my hamstrings, as well as my core, bringing myself up to crescent lunge. Again, guiding that right hip forward, left hip back. Lunging into the front leg. Trying to keep my shoulders stacked over my hips. And whatever arm variation serves you today. On your next exhale, you can bring your hands back down to the mat, stepping that left foot back, coming into down dog. Maybe taking a bend in the knees, tilting the tailbone up to the sky, and then trying to bring our ankles down to the mat. Maybe they go, maybe they don't. Listening to our body. And maintaining a nice steady inhale and exhale through the nose. On your next inhale, you're going to raise the right leg up to the sky, bending your knee like you're going to kick yourself in the bottom, rolling and stacking the hips one on top of the other. Really being mindful that we haven't dumped all of our weight into our left shoulder. Our shoulders are staying square to the mat, just really opening up through our right hip. On your next exhale, bring that foot up in between the hands, planting, staying up this time, coming back into our crescent lunge. Taking a moment to make sure of our alignment. Knee stacks over ankle, hips are square, shoulders are square. Opening up through our hip flexor on our left side. We're now going to go and take it into a warrior two. So our left ankle is going to come down and our foot is going, our toes are going to point to the side of our mat. So really pressing into the outer edge of our left foot. Maybe taking our stance wider, I have to in a warrior two. Pushing, rooting strongly through both of the legs, keeping your shoulders stacked over the hips. Maybe your arms come out to either side. And I encourage you to take your gaze over your right fingertips. Maybe take a peek down at your right toes. Make sure your knee isn't collapsing in like this. You should always be able to see your right toes. Lunging as far as you can into that front foot. Take your right hand, you're going to flip the palm. Bring your left hand back down to your leg. Inhale, reach up and back into peaceful warrior. Opening up through the right side. Your legs are probably feeling the burn. Just send your breath there. You can do this. On your next exhale, you're going to bring your right elbow to your right thigh as you take your left arm up and over into an extended right angle. Ensuring that we're still being quite engaged to the outer side of our left foot. reaching and extending up through our top arm. Take your gaze down to your foot, windmill the arms down. We're going to step back into a powerful plank pose, engaging our core, taking our hands underneath our shoulders, engaging through the legs, keeping our heart above our hips, and breathe. Maybe you have to come down to your knees for the plank. Do whatever your body needs today. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Send the hips back, down dog. Excellent. We're going to do that on the other side. So take our left leg up to the sky, bending at our knee, and stacking the hips, opening our leg. It's also known as fire hydrant pose. I'm sure you can see why. Try to keep those shoulders square to the mat, not dumping into our right side. And on your next exhale, bring that left foot between the hands, setting up for our crescent lunge. Ensuring our hips are square, engaging our core, bringing our bodies up. Whatever hand variation works for you. Let's check on our alignment. Our knee is stacked over top of our ankle, not pushing past. My hips are square, means my left hip is guiding back as my right hip is guiding forward. My shoulders are stacked over top of my hips. My shoulders are rolled back and down my spine. And breathe. On your next exhale, we're going to go ahead and go into the warrior 2 on the other side, dropping our right heel down, windmilling our arms open, maybe taking our stance a little bit wider. I'm lining up my ankle with the inner arch of my back foot, making sure I can see my front toes, my knee isn't collapsing in or out. Strongly engaging, pushing, rooting down through the outer edge of our right foot. Shoulders stacked over hips, arms extend, maybe gazing over our left fingertips. And breathing. Feeling powerful in this warrior 2. Flip your left palm up to the sky as you bring your right arm down. Inhale, lift up and over to our peaceful warrior. Really opening up through that left side. Again, maybe peeking, making sure our knee isn't collapsing inward. Strong foundation. On my next exhale, I'm going to bring my left forearm to my thigh, sweeping my right arm up and over to an extended side angle. Stretching out my right side. Not dumping all of my weight into this front leg, just using it to just guide myself up. Strong core, strong legs, strong foundation. You can bring your gaze down to your front foot, windmill the arms down. We're going to step back and hold that plank pose again. Engaging strongly through the core, the shoulders, the legs, extending my crown, long, tall spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can drop your knees down, come through to a seated position. Taking your legs out in front of you, we're gonna grab the fleshy bits of our bottom, and you're just literally going to pull them back on both sides, making sure you're rooted nice and strongly through your pelvis, your seated bones, extending those legs out in front of you, maybe giving them a little shake. They've worked hard for you. On your next inhale, raise the arms up, and we're going to exhale and fold over our legs. Leading with our hearts, the nice tall spine. Think about bringing your chest to your toes instead of just collapsing over. Having a good forward fold doesn't make you a better person. It just means you have good hamstrings that are a little bit longer, and it allows you to do that. Don't push yourself to your limits. Listen to your body. Maintain your breath. After your next exhale, you can start to walk the hands back up, coming up through your seated position. You're going to put a bend in the right knee, placing the sole of your foot on the ground. Taking your right foot, placing it on the outside of your left leg. Your left arm hugging the knee in. My right arm is going to come up and back behind me. Gonna have a nice tall spine. And on my exhale, I'm going to start to turn to look to my right hand side. Maybe your gaze goes behind you. Maybe it doesn't. Listening to your neck. Think tall spine as you rotate, open. Excellent. On your next exhale, you can start to slowly unwind, coming through center, placing that right leg back down out in front of you. Take a bend in your left leg, placing the sole of the foot on the ground. Taking that foot up and over onto the outside of your right leg. Taking your right arm, hugging that knee in, arm goes up and back, placing it behind you. I'm gonna sit up nice and tall as I exhale and twist. On your next inhale, you can slowly start to bring yourself back through center, extending back out through the legs, and bringing yourself down to your back. Excellent. We're going to come into a happy baby. So, bending at the knees, shining the feet, the soles of the feet up to the sky. We're going to bring the knees wide onto either side of us, taking hold of the outside of our feet and dropping the knees in, surpassing the spine, really opening up through the hips. Maybe finding a little rocking back and forth, massaging out the lower back, or finding stillness. Excellent. You can release your grip. We're going to extend both legs out down our mat. Perfect. You're going to lift your hips slightly and bring them over to the left side of your mat. You're going to start to walk the feet over to the right side of your mat, coming into banana pose. So once my feet have gone as far over as they possibly can, I'm going to try and hook my left foot over top of my right. Taking my arms up above me, I'm going to start to walk my shoulders over to the right, creating a nice banana with our spines. Encouraging our hips to stay flat and down. And if we can, encouraging our shoulders to stay rooted on the mat as well. Breathing into the left side of our body. Really taking this time to slow down the breath. Long, slow inhales. Long, slow exhales. On your next exhale, you can unhook your feet, start to walk them back through center. Same thing with your shoulders, picking up your hips, straightening out for a moment. And when you're ready, you can pick the hips up slightly, bring them over to the right side of your mat. Start to walk your feet over to the left side of your mat, maybe hooking that right foot on top of the left. Slowly walking our shoulders over to the left side of the mat, extending our arms upwards if that's comfortable for you, and opening up the right side. Keeping both shoulder blades rooted onto the ground and our hips rooted nicely and square as well. Take another big inhale and exhale. And slowly start to bring your body back through center. Extending the legs out, maybe taking them a little bit wider than your mat. Bring the tops of your hands down, shining the palms up. Just melting away into our Shavasana. Taking this time to let our body absorb what we've asked it to do with our practice today. Thanking our bodies for working hard for us. Just find some stillness in your big, deep, slow inhalations and exhalations. Relaxing through our eyebrows, our eyes, softening the face and the jaw. Just melt into your mat. Start to bring some awareness back to the room. Taking a big, long, slow inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. One more. Long, slow inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. And start to bring some movement into the hands and the toes, wiggling your fingers, maybe rolling out your wrists and your ankles. Maybe sending your feet down the mat and your hands up above you as you have a good big morning stretch. And hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Maybe rolling on to the side as you push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I really hope that this finds you feeling stronger with more mobility. I appreciate you. Thank you, and I hope to see you on video number 5.